play games, we're losing. If we're straight up, we're losing. So where do we even go with that?
Well, I mean,
that most women tend not to care about male body count, right? Because when people see a woman with a high body count, they think lack of control. When you see a man with a high body count, you think this guy's in control, right? He's capable of like achieving a lot, right?
agreed.
Now, however, I think body count matters to women, but I think it comes up in a different way. So here's a question I could be wrong, right? But let's say that you have a guy and you start dating him, you start talking to him, and you find out that he has like a lot of women friends. And then after you start dating, you find out that he's f***ed a lot of them. Are you okay with him like texting, DMing, like still being like friends with these women?
Right.
Or I want to hear around that.
Good question. We'll go around the table now.
For men comes
Okay,
up more.
so
Nah, I mean, I don't know. I guess. I mean, if he's not like on that bullshit and like talking to them in some type of way, I don't know. I probably wouldn't. Knowing me, I probably wouldn't be okay with it.
okay. What about you?
No, not okay with it.
Okay.
It's a no for me, dog.
It's a no for me, dog.
Randy Jackson.
Fuck
But did you say before that you would be okay with your guy exercising options?
That is the reason why I'm single.
Because you make no sense.
No, I cannot handle it. I cannot handle it. That's why I'm single.
So you're not okay with the man exercising options?
Listen, I would, but I can't handle it.
What?
I would. Like, maybe if I was a little bit more mature, I would.
So she doesn't. Okay, like, just stop talking and go to the next person because you make no sense. And again, like, yeah, to ask women to be logical is, look at Myron's expression, it says it all.
I would be able to be okay with it, but I am not mature enough to handle it. I know that I'm not mature enough to handle it right now, so no.
Yeah, what she's saying is, because I have a lot of power in the SMP, right now I want everything my way. I want the guy to be monogamous with me, but I want to exercise my options effectively.
Definition, you can't accept it.
I can't accept it. Maybe in the future I would.
Right now. No, the present time at 12:43 in the morning.
Okay.
Bruh.
I would not want him talking to girls that he's been fucking with, is what I'm saying. If it was like once or twice, okay, and they have no ties to him, I'll be okay with letting it go. But if it's like an everyday thing, like you're gonna see this person constantly,
or no, yes or no.
The answer is no. She will not accept.
If it's like a threesome here and there, like I would, yes.
No, we got
but if it's like a constant everyday thing, no.
Okay. Bro, and then guys, like, yo, this is why so many guys struggle with girls, bro.
This is confusing.
See, but here's the thing. I don't know if y'all noticed this.
I know I'm confusing.
I don't mean to make her a case study on this, but I don't know if you guys noticed she's been flip-flopping her answers based on how she feels at the moment that we ask her the question.
Yo, your poor baby.
And this is what I mean when I say that women a lot of the times have to make their answers based on how they feel when a particular question is asked or how they feel at the moment of the environment around them.
That's right. And even more important than their emotions is how everyone else perceives them. Their answer is almost entirely based on, if I say this, will the people around think I'm a bad person? If they will, then I'm going to lie. That's very common. Or I'm going to say the thing that I think the group will like to hear, which is lying. But anyway. Hello and welcome to heliosblog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all for notifications. If you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content, newly revamped, posting weekly content, patreon.com/theheliosblog. You could also subscribe there. I already said that. You could also drop me a donation like Adrian R, Tom M, shoutouts to them. Link is in the description. And of course, thank you. Let's continue.
Right.
I think there's something to be said for how confidently men will answer questions, though, when they don't know what they're talking about, right? So she's obviously like waffling back and forth, but you'll have a guy like really confidently say some shit like, I'd never date a woman who's 24 with a body count of 50. But I guarantee you, he might say that, but if the right girl walks through that door and she's a 9 or 10, like the guy will suck it up and do it 100%. So even
no, he won't. If she's a 9 or 10, but she has an end count of 50, that is a guaranteed no. Because her entitled attitude and behavior would be a no. Of course, these girls don't have their end counts, you know, on their forehead, so you can't sometimes tell they're really good at lying and hiding it, right? If they tell you that they have an end count of 5, but they actually have an end count of 50, and for the first 6 months she's a good liar, then sure, you date her. right? But you'd find out later by the other behaviors what's actually going on, right? You'd find out that she's, you know, there's actually something seriously wrong. So no, he's wrong about this.
Even though a guy might give
Changes
a
his
confident
mind.
answer, right? Given the right circumstance, he'll probably be willing to bend or change too, I think.
He'll make that decision and say what's on his mind at that moment.
At that time, sure.
He's not gonna flip flop and I don't know how I feel about this, and then like let their feelings go ahead 100% like dictate how they're going to answer a question.
But I'm pretty concrete on the fact that
She's not sure.
no.
That's right.
Listen,
And you really said men are just as
look.
delusional.
I think the only
You
thing concrete
really
here is that you're not concrete.
honestly,
Waffle House.
if he was gonna have a constant relationship with this woman, no. If it's like a once in a time thing where we have threesomes or like, you know, I would.
So what she's saying is she wants to be the main girl. She doesn't want to be the side girl to this high value man. I get it. I understand. Because again, girls will make a lot of their decisions based on their perceived status to other women. So for example, if by dating this guy, all my other female friends will be jealous, I will continue to date him, right? Because it raises her status to a female friend group. He's a nicer purse, even if he cheats, right?
I would be okay with that.
If it's your ex, if you're fucking her, she's got to kick rocks, so you're gonna kick rocks. I'm not putting up with that shit. I'm not gonna put myself through that shit.
So by the way, let's look at the looks here. So dyed hair that's greasy, lots of tattoos, gigantic makeup, and masculine demeanor and behavior. I mean, need I say more? Okay, let's continue.
I will stress myself out.
Okay. So he can't talk to his ex with you.
I'm sure they're all gonna say no though.
Okay.
But
Fair enough. What about you?
Fuck that.
I mean, I wouldn't like it, but you know, humans are unique and there's different situations, and you know, there is like there has to be a respect towards me, you know, about it. Like some guy could be best friends with a girl for lifelong, and you know, whatever, they did their thing one time, and
Just one time.
whatever, he introduces me to her, we become friends. Like there's situations where you can be okay with it.
For real.
Okay.
And yeah, of course you're not gonna like it as a female, but if there's a common respect, and you know, things happen, we're all human beings.
Yeah, so what she's saying is she's telling on herself, things happen, we're all human beings. She's virtue signaling, so she's trying to be liked by the guys in the group. And also, she's just saying what she thinks will make her look the best. I already said. So, again, I'll bet in a different group she'll give a different answer. Something that makes her look better. So, this is a ridiculous answer. Anyway, to quote Schopenhauer, dissimulation is innate in women and almost as much of a quality of the stupid as of the clever.
Okay.
I want to say that answer, I would be careful because women will say that. But as soon as you guys get into a fight and he's talking to that woman, and he's like, man, I got into a fight with Tony today. Oof, then shit goes crazy.
That's where the respect comes in. Like, you know, our
respect your
arguments should be private. You shouldn't be
don't know
running
how
to
to-
a girl that
For
you
sure,
fuck.
for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? What?
That men don't know how to keep that boundary.
What boundary in particular?
Like for example, like how she said that he had a best friend, they fucked once or twice, and then they got into an argument, and he's over here talking to her about the situation
it's not that men
they
don't know how to
had.
keep it. They just
Yeah, what this girl is describing is she's telling on herself. That happened to her. Probably in high school and many more times after high school.
don't give a fuck about
They don't give a exactly. They don't give a fuck about it.
Oh, something else I wanted to point out. Let's look at how Destiny is talking. Destiny's talking and emoting just like a girl. Are we not going to mention that? He's not masculine. So it's no surprise at all to me that Destiny's girl cheats on him. Because he has no masculine energy. It's like she's dating another girl.
They know they're doing something right. That's why when
agree
you
to
look at
that.
your guy,
I agree
and
to
every
that.
single time, it's like some fucking NASA like GPS repositions his phone every time you look over. It's because he knows he's doing something dumb.
Of course,
Okay, every
of
time,
course.
yeah.
Well, that's
oh
where the
yeah.
respect comes
Oh
in.
yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Yo, think of
Well, wait. Destiny said he knows he's doing something bad. Like, what men do is inherently bad, and they should be following the women's script. I understand, Destiny. I understand.
you okay?
I'm great.
Look like you're in love, man.
I know, man.
Yes, sir.
Are you bricked up?
Don't worry about it, man. Why you putting me on the spot? It's L Fresh, L Wingman. Bad Wingman. Fresh is LBC.
What about you?
Yo.
No. That's sad. Because like
That's Ritz.
The relationship is dead or the girls are dead? Let's clarify.
Like, no, like, really though, like, if I'm with you, like, you okay with me being cool with my nigga friends and I'm my nigga friends, like,
yeah,
like,
niggas, like, yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
They
be
count.
for real, like, you
real,
okay
like-
with me, my homeboys, and you still, like, I'm still cool with my homeboys, and you want me to still be cool with you, your homegirls, and y'all cool and tight, like, no, that's that.
All right, let me ask you a
Okay. So my commentary on that is way too much swearing. But anyway, notice these girls want to keep their male friends, right? But they don't want you to have female friends. You see what I'm saying? Now, guys, I don't actually recommend you ever have female friends unless they're friends with benefits. It's a waste of your time. But like, these girls want to keep all their options while limiting your options or making them as little as possible. That's how it goes, guys. Okay. Let's see what Myron has to say here.
question though.
Oh.
Would you let's say you're with a guy that you like, you love and you admire, right, and you respect him? Would you realistically want to have sex with other men?
Excuse me?
Let's say you're with a man that you love and you admire and you respect. Would you realistically want to have sex with other men?
Gross.
See, and that you can't even grasp it, right?
No, like, I'm sorry.
If you're with a man, your boyfriend, fiance, whatever, you love him, you respect him, would it even come to your mind to have sex with other dudes?
No, I don't want to have sex with nobody else.
Okay, now let me flip it. If that guy's in a relationship with you and he loves you, you know what the reality is? He wants to have sex with other girls.
I'm sure of it.
Okay, so
you're right.
So when
because
so what you're arguing right now, saying, well, that's like me having sex with my homeboys. Well, not really, because you don't want to. You don't really want to do that.
On my behalf, no.
Right, even though she would accept it. Because again, if the guy is high quality enough, girls will accept much. Okay, I'll give you a quote from Wheel of Time, a famous fantasy series. Dance with a girl and she'll forgive much. Dance well and she'll forgive almost anything. That's the adage that applies here.
Okay, you would not want it.
No.
Okay. But you do understand that a guy, even if he loves you, wants to have sex with other girls. Most of the time.
You're right.
Okay.
Because that's just how that.
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying is because you were trying to say it's equal, like, oh, well, that's like me having sex with my homeboys, and I'm trying to say it's not because you don't really want to have sex with them if you're with a man that you love. Versus he's with you, he loves you, but he definitely still wants to have sex with his homegirls. That's what I'm trying to say.
She understands, like really, she understands really, like, yeah, both. Okay.
I think she
sounds like, yeah.
I'm just saying men and women are different. Like,
really, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, women naturally don't want to be hoes if they're with the guy that they love, admire, and respect.
Of course not. You're right. But a dude would definitely still have love for the girl, but he still want to hoe up. Like, he still want to, fuck up.
Period.
And I get
It's funny that these girls constantly complain about Chad, but yet Chad is the only guy that they ever sleep with. Anyway, let's continue.
that. It's just that's just how it should be. Like, for real, like in real life.
Not every guy.
No,
Hold on,
not every guy. You're right. You're right.
Not every guy. Not in real life either.
You're right. Not every guy is the same.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah, if you know that guys want to do that, would you be okay with your guy stepping out, knowing the reality that most guys just want to have multiple women? Would you be okay with that, knowing that? Now that you understand the reality.
But in that situation, that's where you gotta know what type of what you're looking for in the dude. Like, what you wanna what you
This girl is just stumbling on her words. It's like, that meme with the little kid that's like stumbling over his words constantly? Would you like, she's like, is she drunk or something? I don't understand.
Want to put up with, what you want to deal with.
Have you ever had a dream?
Well, yeah, you see? I literally.
Well, my question to you is, I want to try to
made
get a
that
direct
same
answer
joke.
here is, knowing that most men want to have sex with most girls, I'm saying if you're with the guy that you love and you respect, are you willing to put up with that? Knowing that there's a high likelihood it'll happen.
I'm not for you if you want to do that. No.
Right, exactly. If you don't want to let me exercise my options but exercise yours, I'm not interested. That's okay. Anyway, let's go on to this article by Rhoda Tomasi. Okay, I think I've already read this one. Let's go to the next one. The love experience. Excuse me. Okay. Glenn and a few others had a question about last week's love commodity post. This seems very inconsistent to me. How can this be true? Men and women can and do love each other intensely and genuinely. They can and do see past each other's deficiencies, and their love endures. While this is true, in an era of unapologetic feminine primacy and unignorable open hypergamy, this commodification undeniably rests with the feminine. You'll have to forgive a long explanation. I couldn't simply drop this in the commentary. A full post was necessary. The first thing we need to consider is the male experience versus the female experience. I hate to get too existential, but it comes down to our individuated experiences as men and women. I'm going to give 2 examples here, and this will cover the hypergamy is everything thread I noticed the commentary, where I noticed the commentary as well. There's an interesting conflict of societal messaging we get from an egalitarian feminine primary social order. This is one that simultaneously tells us that we're not so different, or that we're more alike than we are different, and then implores us to celebrate our diversity and embrace our differences as people. This is easily observable in issues of ethnicity, but it also crosses over into issues of gender. The most popular trope is that ideas of gender are a social construct, and that women and men are comparative equals, and only their physical plumbing makes them different, in form only. From an RP perspective, we see the error and evidence of this egalitarian fantasy. I've written countless posts on the evidential and logical fallacies that make up gender equalism, but the important thing to be aware of is the conflict inherent within that belief. Equalism expects men and women's existential experiences to be the same, while also pleading that we embrace the differences it purports we don't actually have. It fundamentally denies the separation from an evolved biological and psychological perspective that men and women experience life in different ways. The idea that it's not the nebulous society that determines our gender experiences unless, if nothing of it, is truly influenced by a human being's psychological and biological firmware. Some guy posted this. I think maybe this is in part because men have no innate desire to marry up. Hypergamy doesn't compute for us. I know what hunger feels like, and I assume women feel it the same way I do. I'm empathetic to poor, hungry children because I know what they're feeling. However, I have no idea what hypergamy feels like. I've never felt its pull. My second example comes from Women and Bedroom Fun, in which I explore the fallacy of a social convention that insists women are just as bedroom fun interested as men, and that women want bedroom fun, enjoy bedroom fun even more than men. This canon is both observably and biologically disprovable, but the presumption is based on the same we're all the same but celebrate the difference conflicting principle that I mentioned above. If a dynamic is complementary to the feminine, then the biological basis is one we're expected to embrace the diversity of. But if the dynamic is unflattering to the feminine, it's a result of a society that's fixated on teaching gender roles to ensure the patriarchy. We're really more alike than not. The idea is patently false because there's no real way any woman can experience the existence and conditions that a man does throughout his life. I mentioned in that essay about how a female amateur bodybuilder I know who was dumbstruck by how horny she became after her first cycle of anabolic steroids. I can't believe men can live in a state like this, were her exact words. She was just beginning to get a taste of what men experience and control in their own skins 24 hours a day, and it was unsettling for her. Women are used to a cyclic experience of bedroom fun, whereas men must be ready to perform at the first best opportunity. These are our individuated experiences, and despite all the bleeding of the equalists, they're qualitatively different. No man has an idea of what hypergamy feels like. To my knowledge, there's no drug or hormone that can simulate the existential experience. Even if there were, men and women's minds are fundamentally different, so the simulated experience could never be replicated. I understand how hypergamy works from observing the behavior and understanding the motivating biology for it. I also understand that our species evolved with and benefited from, or at least makes deductive sense, that what we know as hypergamy today is a derivative of that evolution. But what I don't have is a first-hand existential experience of hypergamy, and I never will. Likewise, women will never have a similar existential experience of what it's like to be a man. So it should be easy to follow how to deduce that how a woman experiences love is based on a hypergamic opportunistic impulses. It's a fundamentally different experience than that of a man. The equalist social order wants love to be an equal mutual agreement on a definition of love that transcends our individual experiences, but it simply will not accept that an inter-bedroom fun difference of love is defined by each gender's individuated experience. I have no doubt that there are areas of crossover in both men's idealistic concept of love and women's opportunistic concept, where this experience of love is still defined by individuation. By that I mean that women can and do experience intense feelings of love for a man based on her hypergamously influenced criteria. Okay, back to this video here.
So you want a man to be monogamous to you only?
If it's 100, if it's real, you right, yeah.
If it's real. So When she's sleeping with Chad, she doesn't care. But later on, when she's 35 plus and it's quote unquote real, then yes.
What?
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay, you want him to be monogamous to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
like really, she means that.
It's not possible.
Right.
I think there's, to be clear, I think there's a difference.
Some women are willing to do anything to keep you monogamous to them, like just faithful to them.
I just think
we suck you dry every single day to keep you.
I think you should clarify your question.
Yeah.
When you say, because when you say your man wants to f another woman, that can mean two very different things. Does he like fantasize about like f***ing other people sometimes? Because I'm sure even most women will fantasize about like a celeb or whatever.
Absolutely.
Or do they want to, like, would they, given the opportunity to step out and do it and not get caught, would they do it?
They would.
Yeah, sure. But I'm just saying those wants are two different things. So like when you say, would you want to be with a man who wants to f other women? Well, if you're saying like it's natural that every guy like has a fantasy or desire to, that's different than it's natural that every man will cheat.
Does
I think
yeah,
those are
but
two
under
way
the
different
context of the conversation, how we pretexted him talking to those other girls and potentially having sex, I mean, I would assume she would infer that.
Potentially, yeah, but I'm saying like a woman saying that like I want a man that doesn't want any other woman, she's either retarded or that sentence makes perfect sense. It depends, right? Because if you're with a man who you don't ever want him to have desire for the woman,
when
you're
I said
dumb.
that, you understood that I meant he wants to be with other girls. He wants to f other girls. You understood that, right?
Like will f other girls given
he
the
will f other girls given the opportunity, right? I mean, that's why she answered the way she did. Like no. So I think she understands it, but yeah, what?
No, we got you. Really, like absolutely, we got you.
This generation just crazy. That's not crazy.
It's hilarious that she would say that.
No, all I'm saying is that you want a guy to be monogamous to you, and I'm simply saying that's not realistic in most situations.
You're absolutely right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So why not? You're right, why not adapt to reality and accept it?
You're right. It's possible.
Yeah, cool. What about you?
Because women operate in possibility and not in probability. So if she thinks that it's possible for a guy to be monogamous, she's gonna hold out and hold out and hold out for the monogamous guy. Well, actually, that's not what's gonna happen. She's gonna go from Chad to Chad to Chad to Chad to Chad, hoping that one of them will decide at some point to be monogamous, while not realizing that they're never going to stop. And finally, she'll settle on a beta bucks when she's 35 plus, right? And in any case, even if the guy does say that he's monogamous, she knows in the back of her mind that at some point, if he can cheat, he will cheat. And she's just pushing that out of her mind.
What about you?
Would you be okay with your guy having his female friend still around that he had sex with in the past?
Never in a million years.
Please talk into the microphone.
Never in a million years. Never.
So the only reason I ask is because I think that sometimes when we ask questions, especially poll questions, I think that sometimes the answers can be a little bit one-dimensional. Or there's another question asked. So like earlier we talked about how many partners does a person have and are they likely to divorce? And it's like 0 and 1 are the best number of partners to have. Yeah. And it's like, well, it could be that they're religiously, they found the one.
Yeah, there's other variables.
And then same thing with this, so like, does a girl care about a guy with like a 50 or 100 body count? Like, typically if you ask a girl, they're not going to say they care. But realistically, if you're known in a community as a boy, or if you've got a lot of girls that you're talking to and your girlfriend finds out, because you're not going to tell her that you those girls, because no guy will say that. But if she finds out that you were one of those girls, like there a lot of problems tend to crop up to where the high body count guys do run into issues. You're just not going to show up on like a polling question.
They actually don't run into issues. There might be that argument, but that the guy was chosen in the first place means that it was a good strategy. Every guy that has a high body count has a girl in some capacity, because women operate on pre-selection. When men are able to get lots of girls, they are more attractive, so they're picked. So even if there is an argument, she would always pick that guy over Beta Billy. Which is why Beta Billy complains about having literally nothing, whereas this guy complains about arguments. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. That other guy gets literally nothing. Like you, Destiny. Okay. Actually, this one's maybe a little bit too based. Alright. 4 hours ago, posted on relationship advice. My husband, 25, wants to divorce me, 24, because I'm lazy. My husband and I have been together for 8 years, married for 3. He's been distant for 5 months now, barely speaking to me. And when I speak to him, he's always on his phone, ignoring what I'm saying. Very little communication. He's been sleeping in the guest room, and we haven't had any bedroom fun activity since then. Recently we had the talk. He says he hates that I don't work too much, I don't pull my weight around the house, and I don't cook for him. He pays everything except for Wi-Fi and the phone bill. I work Monday to Friday 7 to 2 p.m., 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., and my husband works 3 to 11. I come home to a 7-year-old son hungry because all he is fed was cereal at 9 a.m. After making him a quick lunch and settle in, I usually clean up the kitchen. It's always a mess from the morning. Once I'm done, I either go on a walk with my son or at the park. When we get home, I start my lesson plan since I homeschool. While he works on his worksheets, I start dinner. After dinner, we hang out or watch movies and play. Then it's time for showers and bedtime. When he's all settled in, I clean up the kitchen, spot clean around the house, and throw away the trash. Apparently, I have to meal prep my husband's food because he doesn't eat unless I make him food. I need to deep clean the whole house every day. I don't know what he does during the day, but every time I see him when he's not working, he's playing video games. It's not fair that he gets to do everything he wants, but I get yelled at for no reason. I got so stressed and overwhelmed with homeschooling, but I do it because our son is autistic. When I tell him how much work it is, I always get told, it's your job. We've always had issues. My main issue is that he's not romantic or lovey with me anymore. I haven't had one gift from him since the 2nd year. No anniversary, birthday, or Valentine's Day gift. He wants me to change, but I can't. I'm trying my best, and this is all I can push myself to do. It just hurts because I still love him so much, and I feel like he hates me. Okay, all the comments are going to support the girl because she isn't telling her side of the story. Alright. 59 upvotes. Your husband sounds like a lazy person who's checked out. You're both very young, so to have a 7-year-old son who needs extra help has put a lot of strain on not just your relationship but also on your individual lives. A few small pieces of advice. Find a special needs school for your son. Someone who's trained to educate him is going to do a better job than you. That's not an insult. You had him when you were 17, still a child yourself. You didn't get the time to train to teach. Let someone who has a focus take him during the day. Talk to us about your husband, explain what your day looks like and that you're exhausted. If he still wants to leave, then it's fine, but at least he's making an informed decision. Agree to a custody arrangement before he leaves. I suggest 50-50 since you both work, and that's what would benefit your child most. Don't stay with someone just because you love them. Love isn't enough to keep a relationship strong and healthy. Okay. 16 upvotes. Stop cooking and doing stuff for him. Keep your baby responsibilities up to keep it safe. But stop helping around the place. He needs to realize what you contribute. If he can't change after seeing that, he's not worth remaining in a relationship with. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, all of them are saying the husband doesn't contribute or do anything. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, everybody's saying he's more of a burden to your life than a partner. Lose that useless guy. So, again, it's the guy's fault. That's the... You tell me in the comments if you agree. Okay, we're going to end the video there. Again, if you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all for notifications. If you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content. Patreon.com/theheliosblog. Go there and subscribe. Again, it's newly revamped, posting weekly content. If you'd like to support me, I do have a donation link. It's in the description. Shout outs to Adrian R and Tom M. Again, guys, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to the videos. I really do appreciate it, especially if you listen to the end. You guys are wonderful. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.